We are in. Let's see here. Should be live now. Double check everything. Mark, are you able to see that on our page right now?
Not seeing on your page.
There it is. I'll fix it. There it is.
Hang on. You got it, have you? No, it's not coming up on my page.
Should be live now. Check it out. Can you see it now? Check everything.
No, it's still not. For some reason, I'm refreshing it. So
okay, check that out down, Mark.
Why that is.
Don't
see it on your page.
There it is. I'll fix it. There it is. See if you're able to see that now.
Right, I'll refresh it now.
It's kind of on my page. Should be live now. We good? You got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. We're good to go. All right, everybody who's watching now or on the recorded version, my name is Mike Fallat, and I help entrepreneurs write best-selling books, and I teach them how to use it as a marketing tool. And I get to interview authors, entrepreneurs all over the world to hear their story, how they got started in their own book, how they use it, and then what are the results of actually putting your book out into the world and all the good things that come from it. The guest I have today is a total badass. I checked him out on YouTube, over 60,000 views on all of his videos. I don't know how you do that. I'd love to hear from him directly. His name is Mark Llewhellin, and he's a Green Beret, author of the book The Underdog. You have to check it out on Amazon. And he's also a bodyguard. And I guess it looks like you're a dad also. There it is. So thank you. There it is. Nice. I got to get a copy in my hand. So thank you so much for doing this. I know your time is valuable. So, you know, for all the people out there watching either now or on the recorded version, who are you? Tell me a little bit about your story and why you actually chose to write a book.
Hi, my name is Mark Llewhellin. I was basically useless at a lot of things, so I left school. I didn't think I was going to be successful at anything. I didn't go back to my exam results because I knew I wasn't going to do it very well. So I joined the army, and after being voted the fattest person in the troop and failing my basic 1.5 run, I just decided to get a little bit fit. So I trained a lot. Eventually, at times, got my British Green Beret with 29 Commando Regiment Royal Artillery. Served sort of six years with 29. Got out, did a bit of bodyguard work. And now I interview successful people, and I've started writing books. So that's kind of a very short version of it. And I also the ultra distance running. So I broke a world record for running. I forgot about all this.
What?
Now.
Wait, you're blowing by all these insane things. Number one, you just blew by Green Beret, which I'm sure that doesn't take just a week. So that's incredible. And what's this world record you broke?
Yeah, that was like in 2001 as a 100K treadmill world record. Then I did a 1,600-mile run in America, Denver, San Francisco, and then the other thing I did, the last couple of things I did was it was 2013, 2014. I came first on a GPS challenge with an app called Strava. There's over 50,000 people running against me, so
you won. You won it.
Yeah, I was first. I was like consistently first and comfortably first, and which I didn't really expect because I only knew about the challenge that night. I looked at it. Oh, there's a challenge on here. I'll start the challenge the next day. So I hadn't trained for it. So I was only about 75% fit, but I was hoping to get in the top 400 out of 40,000. I know I come first, so that was just a bit of luck there.
Now, have you always been, you know, maybe one of the elite in your sports or even school, or did you notice that when you first joined I guess you joined the British Army and then you moved from that to the Green Berets? Is that correct?
Yeah, I joined the Royal Artillery. I just didn't know what to do when I was leaving school, so I joined their artillery, just followed some of my mates. And then my cousin was a commando, and I wanted to be a bit like him. And 29 Commando had held the speed march world record for a long, long time. So I wanted to be part of the group and really interested so much these as much. I was more interested in the fitness tests and just the overcoming the big mind challenges and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty awesome.
Okay, so you did all this amazing stuff. When did you decide to write a book? And was there somebody that kind of guided you among the process, or did you just start writing and started putting your stories down on paper? What was the inspiration to start writing your book?
God, that's a very good reason to start writing a book. I just get a book out there. It took me, I think I first had the ideas maybe 10 years ago. And then about 4 years ago, I started writing, and then I just stopped. And so there was this very sporadic sort of behavior with me, as I found it very difficult because I'm not a writer type, or I wasn't a writer type person, same as I was. Yeah, but then the book launched earlier on this year, and I want to make it a career now.
What's the book about? I guess it's the underdog, which I have to tell you, number one, I've always felt like the underdog. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family, very few connections, but what they instilled in me was basically, the hard work, the grit, the chip on your shoulder, use that as energy to fight through all the bullshit that's out there. And I always feel like the underdog. So tell me about what is in the book, and is it more about your Green Beret days? Is it more about your athletic days? Is it just about overcoming very, very difficult challenges?
I would say it's more about overcoming challenges and also putting things into perspective. I think too many times people write for them and then they're, oh, poor old me. And, you take a look around in the world. If you were born in the US or Canada or Australia or the UK, you've got a major head start on people, major head start, so... And it's about appreciating things, it's about being grateful for things, and it's also about achieving your dreams, because where my life is now is so far beyond thought it ever would be. Even the things that have been happening in the last 10 days or so, just crazy. Friend said, come over to, he offered to pay me to come over to Monaco and Italy and all of this, and then
because of the book?
Things where I've been... Yeah, the book has helped. The book has helped, but I interview successful people as well. So it's all of it, really. It's the whole package. It's doing the interviews and the book. I think the book has put me on to another level again. And, early days for me with the book, but it's brilliant. And nice. The testimonials, they're fantastic. I mean, a lot of my friends have done testimonials, and I've got, I think about 13 testimonials from world record holders to people that represent their country. And the one at the front there, that's Billy. He, in the W01, he looked after like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Tom Cruise and all of the top. He's on another level to me for bodyguarding, but it's amazing, even to know people like this now. I would never have thought I'd be, friends with these type of people, because I used to think they were a million miles away from me. So, yeah.
How did you get into bodyguarding? I guess, I've seen a lot of movies, and obviously Hollywood plays a big factor in my perception, but the movie Taken, he's a badass dude who basically gets into being a bodyguard because I guess it's work that you're very, very, very familiar with, and people who want the best, they go to people who are trained in the absolute top level of their industry. Is that correct?
I mean, you know, I'm at a decent standard, but if I'm honest, there's people that have got a much better CV than I have. But certainly the commando stuff helped massively. Basically, it was through a friend who was doing the bodyguard stuff in an exclusive part of London called Park Lane. You know, and he said, would you like to come down? And he was looking after a billionaire down there. And I said, I will, and drive these Bentleys. And you're amongst that lifestyle, you know, in the millions of pounds houses and stuff. But for me, the novelty wore off quite quickly. You know, I like to be my own boss, really. I like to run a show and like other people tell me what to do so much. So that's the thing as well.
Nice. Okay, so when you put the book down, how long did it take you from start to finish?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the amount of writing, it would have taken a couple of months, but I was so on and off with it. I was incredibly slow. So like I said, it was like 4 years. I mean, to start to finish.
Wow.
But that's not 4 years of consistent effort. That's I'll write for a week and then I'll leave it. So I had initially trouble sort of getting into it, as in, same with running. I hated running when I started. People say, you know, if you haven't got a passion for something, you can't be any good at it. Don't believe that. To an extent, that's true, but it's not everyone. It doesn't mean I hated running and I hated writing. Now I enjoy running and I've been very successful in my running. And I intend to do exactly the same with the books. And, you know, I'm working on 12 different books on self-development. You know, I know that I can help, you know, my background, they'll just think to themselves, what if you, the hope, you know, the sort of, you know, I was nothing special, you know, I wasn't the jock, as you call them in America, the sports star or whatever. I just wasn't that at all. I put in more hours than most people. I did grind away, and it was just determination. And if you've got them, it'll change your life.
And that's why when I started writing my book, I guess in 2008 is when I really started to write, and I wrote every morning at 5 a.m. just try to get my thoughts out of my head down on a piece of paper. And whenever I started Dream Starters, that was the biggest problem, is entrepreneurs are so busy that they just don't have the time, maybe the thoughts, to the energy, the resources to get down in front of the computer and start putting their thoughts out and turn it into a book with the margins, the editing, and the cover design. How do you put it on Amazon? How do you promote it? There's so much to it. And that's why I realized that there's a big problem. And so what we do is we help people write books in 30 days, pop it up on Amazon and market it so they become bestsellers. So I'm able to help you out in maybe promoting the book a little bit more. And I'd like to show you some things even after this video. So I'd really like to work with you on that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But okay, so you got a lot of, tell me a little bit about this show that you have on. Is it just YouTube? Is it Facebook? You interview some top level people, and I'd like to learn a little bit about that. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been interested in interviewing. Basically, about 17 years ago, I listened to an interview, and it was a guy, a newsreader from the UK called Martin Lewis. He was interviewing the actor Anthony Hopkins. And I just thought, I'd like to do that one day. 17 years later, so there was a bit of a gap there, you know. So you know, sometimes you'll see people, and you'll see someone like Tony Robbins, and he's like, pow, pow, pow. He's just, you know, straight away with everything. But that hasn't really been my path. But once I get my teeth into something, and I started interviewing people locally that I knew who presented the country, and basically a little bit of success. Once people can see that you're successful with something, more people will want to join in. So then I got to certain names in the UK, and I would just say, oh, you know, I've interviewed so and so and so and so, and you've got to do that. And then they're like, oh, well, he's quite credible now. So then the bigger people, you know, they'll do the interviews. So sports stars and all of that. And, you know, I interviewed a guy with 250 million pounds, and he just started from nothing, you know, and I enjoy it. It's cool.
Wow. So, and by interviewing, can you tell me a little bit about it? What's the business? How do you monetize that? I'm just trying to understand how you, because the book, when I teach people, a book is really a lead generator. You basically pull in a lot of eyeballs, a lot of ears, because you're giving them something of value. You're an established author. And then that basically leads to revenue somewhere else. So you can actually go out and inspire and motivate more people with more books, more speeches, and a business that solves one of their problems. So how do you monetize it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the weird thing, the monetized with the interviews. I was talking to someone earlier about this, funny enough. When I started the interviews, I was paying for everything myself, paying to go to London from Wales, and finding out very cheap ways to do it on the buses and stuff like that. And so I didn't have it as a model where I could make money. But my prime reason was to meet these people, interview them, and learn off them, and other people could learn. So, but later on down the line is people started loving and then someone would say, hey, I'll fly you over here, or I'll do this and or do that. And I've been given a large sum of money not long ago for, you know, sort of because of interviews. So the books, the thing that I'm looking to develop a lot more. So I'm sort of being mentored, if you like. There's a few people over here, Mark Dawson and Joanna Penn. Mark was in the Wall Street Journal. You know, he earns about $400,000 a year through his books, self-publishing. Wow. And stuff. Yeah, and it's, you know, I can see a pattern to it. I can see how they're doing it. You were back with the lead generation. That's fantastic. But the strategy I've got now is to basically, I'm going to put a few free books out there on Amazon. So as we know, it's about getting people's email addresses. And if you bring value to them, they'll keep on, you know, hopefully buying future books. But I think the key to it is to be a bit more prolific. Yes, there are speaking opportunities and stuff like that I could go for. We'll see. So,
do you recommend everybody out there to write a book or get their thoughts out of their head down on a piece of paper? Because I found out through doing it over and over and over that it gives me clarity. If I am putting my thoughts down on paper, whether I'm going through a ghostwriter or writing myself, I'm able to see if I'm on the right path, if I'm going towards something. I'm able to think things through and to see if my life is interesting or not interesting. Do you recommend it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a great idea to out there. And what you said there about the clarity, I used to correspond years ago with a guy called Zig Ziglar. I don't know if you've heard him.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Speaker, but saying about your thoughts. Yeah, so I was lucky to correspond with Zig before he passed, but he big into that. Get your thoughts down onto paper. And you know, if you were going to change a few things, change them. You know, I would say the biggest thing that really changed my life is learned self-development people. I've been lucky enough to be backstage with Les Brown, like Zig I've corresponded with. So in fact, you know, when we were saying what's the interviews brought, someone just give me a free ticket to a Tony Robbins event, a 3 or 4 day event recently. Wow. You know. So it was, you know, it was like $800 or £1,000 or $1,000, you know, $1,200 or whatever. So I get quite a lot of opportunities, and even today, there's just loads of stuff. I get a lot of free stuff, so it's really super cool. I would say the main thing though is to feed your mind with positive another guy, Brian Tracy, enough to meet him in California a few years ago. Really, really cool guy. And it's the old sort of computer thing, garbage in, garbage out. I don't really watch the news. I don't really get tied up in the whole...
Smart man. You're very smart for that.
Yeah, what's this terrorist organization doing? All like, you know, if someone wants to blow themselves up, I don't think you can stop them blowing themselves up. You know, it's pretty impossible. I don't care. You could be the SEAL or the SAS or Commandos, or it's irrelevant. You know, focus on how to help people. I think then it'll massively change your life.
One last question here. Next year, 5 years from now, where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing?
I think 5 years from now, I would love to be, you know, the big dream is to be up there with the six-figure authors and have, I don't know how many books out. Certainly hoping to have in 5 years about 30 books out.
30 books
behind the scenes already. I think so. Yeah, I think it's a possibility. I've already wrote 5 books worth now, but it's all behind the scenes. They just need editing and drafts and stuff like that. And it's entirely possible because the guys I'm learning off, they're doing it. Yeah, and if you get enough books out, which I believe I can, it'll be great. And I just want to write in the south of France and Monaco and in Wales and wherever, and just travel more. So I've been to 56 countries around the world so far now, but wow. There's like 100 countries I haven't been to, so I still want to do a lot more, and all of that sort of stuff. So
I always say, Mark, that a book is like a trophy or a diploma. The more you have of them, number one, the more credibility, but the more eyeballs you have on you. And so the more eyeballs, you can do more things because you have a little bit more established leverage, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's quite easy for me to, if I want to send this book out to somebody that I think is really cool, a celebrity or somebody that's inspired me, it's just an easy way to connect with them.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. You know, you compare a book to a CV, it's different level altogether, you know, and especially if you can get testimonials as well, that makes a big difference. But I would say to people as well, you know, dream big. There's always going to be critics around, but just get around people that are, you know, but doers as well. You know, they match the dream with the action. That's the big thing.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much. I'll be honest with you, whenever I came across you and saw that you're a Green Beret, I have such a huge respect for anybody in the military, regardless of where they're at. But my dad was in the Navy, and I was going to be going to the Navy, and he trained with the SEALs whenever he was in SEER school. And he always told me crazy stories about some things, and I've always wanted to join the Navy, but when I turned 18 is when I met an entrepreneur. I kind of followed in his footsteps. The thing is you know, I've always thought about going to the Navy and you know, putting my hat in, trying for the SEALs.
Yeah.
It's because I always thought that was like the coolest thing, that you see the craziest stuff. Whether or not I could make it or not, I wasn't sure. I believe I could. And it's pretty amazing that I get to speak with you and hear your stories and connect with you, man. I have a lot of respect for you.
Yeah, well, I've got a little bit controversial what I'm going to say, but I think with the forces that it was very good in many ways and it shaped me. But the people that I admire most for lifestyle in many ways are entrepreneurs, you know. And there's a certain type of entrepreneur as well, because there's so many entrepreneurs that focused on their business, see their family and all of the other stuff. And my son is my life, you know, so that's very important to me. But yeah, you've got a lot more freedom being an entrepreneur. But it's all cool. If you're in the military, elite level, or just entry, that's cool as well. We've all got our own paths.
Awesome.
While I'm looking at myself in here, I've decided I'm trying to convince myself I look slightly like Chuck Norris today.
Yeah, it is. I was just reading an article about him earlier, so I could see that.
I'm only I can't push the earth down by doing push-ups. Like Chuck Norris.
The most interesting man in the world, Chuck Norris, right?
Yeah, he's on his own level up there, isn't he? So that's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, man. Let's stay in contact. I'm going to talk to you after this video, and I can maybe show you some ways that I can help, or just give you some ideas on how to market the book. And I'd love to see what you do in the next coming weeks, months, even years. And I'm going to check out more of your YouTube videos. Anybody, go to his YouTube channel. Really, really big stuff's happening there. 60,000 views, like I said, on every video. The book is called The Underdog, and the website, the way to reach out to you is what?
MarkLlewhellin.com. So it'd be easier if I was called John Smith, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be.
So that's EWHELLIN. In fact, if you just typed in The Underdog on Amazon and then just put Mark, it would probably come up.
Yeah, so, that's exactly what I did.
But don't worry, I have a lot more books out. Yeah, awesome.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. And everybody out there, if you're an author, or if you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about writing your story, reach out to me. I can help you out. DreamStartersUniversity.com. Remember, guys, the next chapter is all that matters. Stay tuned.
Thanks, mate. Take care, mate.
Hey.